What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So we are definitely going to make some people angry today because we're going to be talking about shooting this SIG P320X series with no sights on it out to quite some distances. And because what we're doing here today could be looked at as a little bit of a faux pas, we're going to preface this with some information. One, I am not telling you not to aim. I am not telling you not to use your sights or your red dot or whatever you're using out there. I'm just telling you there is validity to the things we're going to talk about today, and some very high level people, whether competitors or straight up operator warfighters that have decades in country fighting wars, use techniques like this. And the ultimate goal of the video is twofold. One, to show you just how accurate modern pistols are, because they are far more capable than any human being could ever be. And the second part is to show you that if you find the right pistol with the right ergonomics, angle, trigger reach, all that stuff, it is a massive level up for your speed, skills, abilities, accuracy, all of those things, if you combine good skills, fundamentals with the right tool. So for my red shirts and instructors out there who are probably already freaking out in the comments about hard front sight focus or whatever technique you are teaching, go look at some competitors who literally hit just about everything they're pointing at and use this technique all the time within certain distances due to their skills, abilities, and their training repetition. And if you don't believe it's possible, here's a video at 100 yards on a 12x20 steel plate IBZIG 2/3 with this SIG pistol and no sights. All right, now that I have your attention, it's time to pay the bills with the help of Hidden Hybrid Holsters. If you don't know who they are, they make those sweet hybrid Kydex and Amish-made leather with suede backing on them for all-day comfort. They've got you covered whether you need something for 1911, all steel setups, all the way to the striker-fired market, or even a little bit of Tabasco bottles if you need to carry that hot sauce around with you all day. If you're interested in something like that, check them out at hiddenhybridholsters.com. For the majority of the rest of the video, we're gonna do this out on the range, hitting that steel with a SIG with no sights. And then we're gonna wrap up and talk about high-level competitors and operators that have actually used this in country, in the combat zone, and teach these techniques out there once you're at a certain skill level. All right, so I get a ton of questions about shooting fast and accurate, and where do those two intermix? Where do they intertwine where you can shoot as fast as possible and accurate as possible? So that's what we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna talk about it today on a gun with no sights. Okay, we're gonna go back to quite some distance. And the reason I'm doing this is because there seems to be almost a faux pas, or like it's not common practice, or you shouldn't talk about instinctive or backplate shooting. Because let's be honest, when we're doing, very aggressive up close, shoot from retention right here in a fight, are we aiming? Absolutely not. So at what distance do we need sights depending on your training level? That's what we're going to address today. Not saying it's a good thing, not saying it's a bad thing. It's just something I want to look at. Now we have a fresh target here. I forgot to bring new cardboard, so thank you Tac Pack. I've got just a couple of these up here, and we're going to start shooting from about the 7, and we're going to go as far back as possible. And once we get to a certain point, so we don't have to keep walking back up, we're going to transition to that piece of steel. That way you will hear the impact, and we're just going to go until we can't hit the target. Okay, let's go address our target. So I am aiming center mass. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there, so you can see all those good holes. That's pretty good for something with no sights. So let's walk back even further this time. All right, here's our next marker. You can see, so nobody's cheating, how far away the target is right here. Again, we'll draw from here. I'm not looking to blaze on the draw or the shots, just can we get good hits from where we are at this point? And if I measured correctly, this one is gonna be the 10, and then we're gonna go back to the 25 next. So again, no sights on this. We'll double check, don't want nobody cheating. That is a SIG with no sights. All right. All right, let's go address the target again. 5-round volley on that one as well. All right, so we have a fresh one here, a fresh one here, a fresh one here, a fresh one here, and a fresh one here. So I'll try and get good marks through all those. That way we can't count a hole twice unless it breaks the marker.
All right, so now we're gonna go all the way back to the 25. Here's our marker, right? Huge thank you to the camera guy, Mike Borden from After Action, because he's having to walk out here in the Arizona desert. At this point, we're gonna transition to the steel plate, which is the yellow plate. It's at the same line all the other targets are on. Again, not looking for speed. We're looking to see, can we hit the target with, again, no cheating, no sights on this gun from a draw. Easy hit. I can tell you from the paint, it hit where I want. So we don't need to waste any more ammo at the 25. Right. All right, so we're here. We're now at the 50-yard line. Okay, that's where I marked it. You can see the target way down range. Again, we have no sights on our gun here, and we are just going to see if we can hit it. Okay, we got our hit. No need to waste additional ammo because I already did that. Okay, so this is legitimately testing every bit of skill I have, even with sights. We're at 75 yards on a 3/4 or 2/3, excuse me, IBSIG target. So I'm gonna stand in front of the camera, right? And he's gonna bounce from me to my truck to that steel target so you can see just how far away it is. Again, because we don't want anybody cheating. So this is going to be very difficult, okay? There's no sights on the gun still. And that target is a long ways away. And I honestly don't know how this is gonna go. Not bad, okay, shot one. So we're gonna go back and we are gonna try 100. And if we can't hit 100, we're gonna call it a day. Okay, we can see how far away the target is again, all the way over there. You can see from the back of me, you can see we've walked completely up in there. Quite honestly, if I hit this, I'll be surprised. Nobody's cheating. We got no sights on that gun. Nice and slow, see if we work on the fundamentals, if we can get at least one hit out here with a few rounds. That was to the right. Okay, it was on the third one. I'm gonna call that good. I don't even wanna try it again because I wanna end on a good note.
All right, so you saw it for yourself. This SIG right here going out to 100 yards on a 12-inch by 20-inch steel target. Now, I am not a trick shooter. I am not the most accurate or the most fast shooter out there. What I will say as far as how I train, I'll take speed and good hits over accuracy most of the time because I train in defensive stuff. I'm not saying accuracy doesn't matter. I'm not saying speed doesn't matter. There is a marrying of the two in there. You want to be as fast as possible and as accurate as you can be, getting those good hits on target. That's how I train because most of my life I've worn a gun for a living, whether it was in the military and special operations or 16 years in law enforcement. That's how I train. And the goal of a defensive encounter is to put holes in them before they can put holes in you. Again, I am not saying don't aim, don't use your sights, don't use your red dot or anything. I'm just trying to show you with the right ergonomics and the modern pistols and how accurate they are with good fundamentals. It is really amazing what you are capable of with pistols these days. Now, talking about where I learned this, high-level competitors and operators both use techniques like this. I'm gonna roll on a video here of Dave from the Humble Marksman. He's a guy that has done a video on this where he actually tapes over his sights, tapes over his optic, and he does a great job of explaining this. So basically, he is able to run plate racks at 25 yards. People can run Texas Stars with no sights on their pistol. It's basically an instinctive or backplate aiming. Think about it this way. When you had a slingshot as a kid or a little spitball straw, did you have sights on it? Probably not, but you usually hit what you were aiming at. The same thing can be true if you have good fundamentals with a pistol. Again, not telling you not to use sights or anything like that. I'm just saying Humans have an ability to train and instinctively point and aim and make something go where we want it, whether it's basketball, soccer, golf, or pistols. One thing you have to remember is skills and fundamentals trump everything. No matter how good your tool is, how good your sights are, if those two things aren't there, you're not gonna have a good time. Now, if you follow anybody on social media like Mike Glover or GBRS Group, those guys have a lot of time in actual engagements and gunfights. And this is a technique that they talk about, whether it's considered backplate shooting, instinctive shooting, whatever you want to call it. Spitballing is what we called it back in the day because it's literally like spitballing. It is an actual technique. Some of the fastest people in the world use this technique. Remember that old guy, Bob Munden, that used to have the wheel gun and he would shoot 2 balloons in like a quarter second or some crazy time like that. You can only hear one shot. It was so fast. You think that individual was aiming? No, it was instinctive shooting. And again, this is a technique at a maybe a moderate to higher level that you need very good fundamental skills, ability, and of course, a very safe environment. But people from operators to competitors have used this technique with great results. And you can watch GBRS Group or Mike Glover when they explain things like this. And it's kind of shunned in the industry when it comes to instructors and things like that because it's a very specific skill set for people that are at a certain level. And I'm really curious from everybody watching this video, have you heard of this technique? Do you know anybody that uses it, or have you attempted this yourself in, say, a training class or something like that? Whether you're a civilian, law enforcement, competitor, any of that stuff. I'm just really curious to know if this is a little bit more popular than I think a lot of us out there think that it is. That is what I have for you all today. A huge shout out to my patrons. Love you guys for all the support. And to Mike Borden from After Action for helping me with the camera work out there. And to True Shot Gun Club for supplying the ammo for this no-sighted SIG pistol right here. And that was basic 115 grain rage ammo. Nothing special out there on the range. So leave me a comment down below on if this was interesting, new, or old hat for you maybe. You get out on the range, have some fun. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you all on the next one.